But have you heard of red right return clockwise around the United States? Or have you heard of red right return upstream? So it's missing that marker. One of the things that you don't want to be doing, you don't want to be sitting in the middle of a channel like this guy over here. Sometimes you don't get two markers. You rarely get two markers. Somebody hits the throttles and you have a huge problem where you're hitting a piling. A lot of them are new boaters that have never even boated before, so you got to be real careful. What's up, guys? I'm here in beautiful Miami. This is the Key Biscayne Bridge, and I'm actually on the Intracoastal Waterway right now. And I'm going to show you how to navigate these waters using the channel markers. So if you're new to boating and the red and green markers confuse you, we're going to go over what they mean so you can navigate safely. Now, I'm sure a lot of you have heard of red right return, but have you heard of red right return clockwise around the United States? Or have you heard of red right return upstream? So there's a difference, and I'm going to go over all of those differences. Today I'm going from Matheson Hammock, which is where I launched my boat, and we're going to be going all the way over to Haulover, which is a pretty long ride, and it's all up the Intracoastal Waterway. Now, most of this ride is going to be at idle speed, so we'll have time to show you all the different things, all the different signs and everything. So we're going to go over all the different colors, the different shapes, the numbers, the yellow triangles. By the end of this trip, you should have the confidence to be able to travel up and down the Intracoastal Waterway. Now, the first thing we're going to talk about is the markers. The markers could be red or green. These are the navigation markers. Now, you've heard of the term red right return or red right returning. So when you're headed from the ocean inland, the red markers are going to be on your right, the green markers are going to be on your left or your port side. The red markers are going to be triangular shape. The green markers are going to be square. Well, here's where people kind of get tripped out when you're traveling up and down the Intracoastal, because of the yellow triangles and the yellow squares. When you see a yellow triangle on a marker, regardless of the color, red or green, you're going to treat that marker like a red one. So it's going to be on your starboard side. A yellow square on any color marker, you're going to keep that on your left side or your port side. You're going to treat that like a green marker. So you may see a red marker with a yellow square. That means in general navigation that it's red. That part can be pretty confusing. And the reason is because the Intracoastal Waterway, red right returning applies in a clockwise motion or upstream. If you go all the way from New York, let's say, and you go all the way down the East Coast, you wrap around Florida, you come back up to Florida, to Alabama, Texas, and all that, right returning is always going to be on your right or your starboard side. That way there's no confusion. And that's what the little squares are. Let me show you. So that's a green marker with a yellow square. Another thing you might notice on these markers is the numbers. The Intracoastal Waterway markers are marked sequentially. The number increases as you head south down the Intracoastal Waterway, and they decrease as you head north of the Intracoastal Waterway. Odd numbers are always on the green markers, and even numbers are always on the red markers. The same applies when you're coming into rivers like the Miami River here. And as you can see, here you have number 59 on a green marker, and way down this way you have marker number 57. You'll notice that a lot of these markers are just boards on pilings. These are called day beacons, and they're usually not lit and used to navigate during the daytime. Others are lighted buoys or lit buoys, and they flash lights for navigation. And each light has a unique flashing pattern. So green will have like a 2-second flash, and the red will have like a 4-second flash. So we're coming up here to Bayside, Miami, and as you can see, we're gonna go right up to this marker. This is a green marker, and it's number 55. Back there we were at number 59, if you remember that. Sometimes you don't get two markers. As a matter of fact, you rarely get two markers. So you really have to orient yourself as to where you're at. So as you can see, there's no red marker on my left side. But I know that because I'm heading counterclockwise up the Intracoastal, the green marker has to be on my right side. As we head our way up the Intracoastal, we're gonna see a whole bunch of different signs, a whole bunch of different buoys, a whole bunch of different markers. You're gonna see mooring buoys, which are those big white balls with a blue stripe in them. That's so you can tie up to them. Then you're gonna see regulatory signs, which we passed a few already, under the Key Biscayne Bridge, for example. Those are white signs with orange symbols. Those are the ones that are gonna mark no wake, slow speed, or danger in that area, or danger zone. You can also get informational markers, which are white with orange symbols as well, but they usually have some type of square orange symbol on there. Here are some of the regulatory markers that I was talking about. So it says manatee and boating safety zone, idle speed, no wake, in intercoastal water channel, slow speed, minimum wake out of intercoastal channel. So we gotta go as slow as we can through here. We even gotta go at idle speed. So I'm gonna slow it down. So this is 0 wake speed. So right now I'm at 800 RPM, 700 RPM. I'm making no wake through the bridge as I cross it. Now, here's another sign, same as the one that we just passed. Slow speed, minimum wake out of the intercoastal. About 1200 RPM or so, where I make a minimum wake on this boat. So there's also danger markers, and those markers are usually diamond shaped, and they usually mark shoals, rocks, or really shallow areas. If you're ever navigating the Intracoastal Waterway or any waterway and you get confused, the best thing to do is just slow down. You don't want to run aground, and you don't want to damage your boat, and more importantly, you don't want to hurt anybody that's on your boat, on your vessel. Now, one of the things also is don't be too confident in your GPS. A lot of markers get blown away during storms, they get knocked down, people run into them. Sometimes they'll be marked on the GPS, but you won't physically see them, okay? And the GPS sometimes is not always so accurate. Use your GPS, it's a great tool, but confirm it visually when you're actually navigating with your boat. A lot of mistakes that I see with newer boaters is they hug the markers really close. I don't recommend doing that. Anything can happen. A rogue wave, somebody hits the throttle, somebody hits the steering wheel on the boat, and you have a huge problem where you're hitting a piling. Also, there might be shallow water around the piling, so you want to try to stay away from that. You want to line yourself in the middle of the markers when there's no traffic. Another mistake that I see a lot is people that ignore the yellow markers. Okay, you always have to be looking out for all the markers, all right? So when you're leaving an inlet, or when you're going offshore, people forget to do the inverse of red right returning. Okay, so now instead of having the red markers on your starboard side or your right side, you're gonna have them on your left side. So people forget to do that, and then you get into trouble. So here we're coming up on a sign that I haven't seen before. Manatee zone, slow speed, minimum wake, November 15th through April 30th. And then 30 mile per hour in Intercoastal Waterway channel, May 1st through November 14th. So that means we can go 30 miles an hour through the Intercoastal Waterway once we pass this. So that's one of those informational markers. All right, so I just passed the bridge. You want to get back on plane, as it said, at least 300 feet from the bridge. So that's what I'm doing. And again, you see here, there's green markers on this side. There's no red markers on my left, because remember, the Intercoastal Waterway, we're heading north, so it's backwards. There's no red markers on my left, but I know I got to keep these markers on my right, the green ones. And then there's a red marker way up there. So let's get on plane and let's do it. So I just passed these two signs, okay? And this is where it can get a little bit confusing, because it even confuses me. It says slow speed, minimum wake, but it's for going into this area over here. And going into this area over here, as you can see the signs over there. So it even confused me for a second, so I had to slow down just to make sure, you know? So I thought that would be a good opportunity to show that. So here's a perfect example where you can't really trust your equipment and you have to confirm. So here you have a green marker, you have a red marker over there, and then you have a marker over here that's missing. And if you look over here, you'll see a green marker and those two red markers. See? So it's missing that marker. So one of the things that you don't want to be doing when you're boating is you don't want to be sitting in the middle of a channel like this guy over here. You don't want to have people having to go around you. He might be having issues with his motor or something, but you never just want to hang out in the middle of these channels. You know, sometimes there's barges coming through, like some of the ones that we passed earlier. There's those big boats and they just can't stop. So they seem to be having some engine problems. Hopefully they get it resolved. Looks like they're Mercs, no Verados. That's why I got my Suzukis. I got 2 of them. 5-year warranty, reliable marine. Boat ramp, the infamous. Not a fan of that boat ramp at all. But if it's close to you, that's the one you gotta use. Here you gotta be really careful with the jet skis too. A lot of those guys, you know, running around. A lot of them are new boaters that have never even boated before, so you gotta be real careful. Gotta pay attention. I have another sign, boating safety zone, idle speed, no wake. You see that big circle behind you? Okay. So then over here we have another marker coming up, and that says 30 miles an hour in the channel, in the Intracoastal channel, and it has dates on there. As soon as we pass this channel marker over here, this information board, we get to go back on plane about 300 feet away from the bridge. So let's get going. You see here's no green marker on this side, a red marker on our left. We have a green marker coming up, so we got to go right between those. Alright guys, we're back from a long day out on the water. Been out since 5 in the morning, so we're heading back in. So this is where we started off this morning, when we came out of Matheson Hammock Marina. And as you can see, the red triangle is on the right and the square is on the left. The green square is on the left. So red right returning to our port, right, to our dock. That's why the numbers are there. You can see the numbers go up, so 4, 6, even on the red triangles, odd on the green triangles. It's number 6, and that should be number 8, and so on and so forth. So if you guys like this video and it was informative, please like and subscribe. And if you like content like this, let me know in the comments what you guys think. I mean, look at this sunset, man. I'll leave you guys with that. Can't beat that. Can't beat that. Thank you guys. I'll catch you on the next one.